Hello folks, welcome to Lester's Customs. Rich, I'm working on your 955 there, buddy. But you might like to, you don't get to see everything that got done to it because part of it was already done before you told me you'd like to have a video. But you do get to see some of it. I just cut the AM voltage regulator, the old one, out. And the reason I do that is you can destroy these through-hole vias by trying to get the transistor out. What I like to do is just cut the old transistor out. We're not going to use it again anyway. Just cut it out, and then I can just grab a hold of the leads and get them out of the holes. See, like that. No pressure at all. They just kind of fall out. It makes it easier to clean out the holes for the new one, which in this case we're going to be installing a Max mod. And I've also got your LSCM Z05 and Z06s ready to go. A match set. Yeah. A lot of you are going to say, well, in a MOSFET it don't make that much difference. It does, because the final section acts like a push-pull. Same thing as a bipolar transistor. One transistor is doing more than the other one. It's going to be the one trying to carry all the work. See, that made that a whole lot easier to clean out that hole. I don't have to run my temperature up very high on my... Okay. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to control the camera directly from the camera. I have the Quick app installed on my phone, but it keeps disconnecting. I don't know why. It's something to do with my frickin' Wi-Fi, I think. Comcast Wi-Fi crap. Oh, excuse me, Xfinity now. We're checking the screws to make sure they're tight while I'm thinking about it. They do have a tendency to back off. But you missed me punching the hole and putting the mica insulator on here. Putting the compound, heatsink compound on there. And I'm getting ready to solder them in place. Yeah, I'm going to turn it around so I can get to it a little easier. I think you can still see it there, can't you? Yeah. Myself and a friend were talking. Well, actually, we communicate over the internet. We were talking about how he saw my name in an old radio tune-up publication. I asked him which one. He told me it was Secret CB. Wow. I was the editor of Secret CB, actually the last editor of Secret CB. I was the one that inspired them to change the name to Radio Secrets, because we were starting to cover a lot more than just CB radio. One of the things I was getting to get a lot of information on was scanners. So I told them we should change the name to Scanners, and they agreed with me, or change not to Scanners, to Radio Secrets. They agreed with me, and we changed the name. But that brought back a lot of memories. I asked him which publication, of course, and he told me it was Secret CB. But before then, I asked him, I said, was it Secret CB, Radio Secrets, Lester's Radio Scrapbook, which I was the author, and SSB Engineering Handbook, I was a contributor, and C-Team Publications. I was also a contributor to that one and a member of the C-Team. Still good friends with Lou Franklin. I was friends with Sam Lewis and also his son, Eric Lewis. I was friends with Sam right on up till he died. But I was telling my friend, well, it's Brian over at Truck CB, that a lot of my old radio buddies are silent keys now. But I was telling him that where the LSCM name came from, I designed a kit for the Cobra 2000, a CPU kit. Now, bear in mind, I was in the Navy at the time in electronics. And I designed a kit for the Cobra 2000, the first CPU kit. And one of my radio buddies, Ichabod Communications, some of you might remember him, Swede. He used to talk a lot about communications, talk on the radio, just good, friendly conversation, He was a long-time Navy man, too. Actually, I was a young Navy man at the time. But we were talking, and he started calling it Lester's Communications, and we shortened the name basically to LSCM with 2 M's for communications. So that's where the name LSCM came from for my kit products. All the extra stuff that I'm looking out, just looking over the radio for QA stuff, making sure I like where everything is at, how it's placed. I'm looking for things out of place, crooked transformers, crooked adjustments, and all that stuff. I've already been through the radio. But there's your Max Mod, Palomar Max Mod. I got off on a tangent there talking. So next thing we got to do is get your transistors installed. There's a Z06s and there's a Z05. Now I'm hand labeling these things, and the reason I'm doing that is because I talked to the manufacturer about having some of these made with my part number on it, and their minimum order was 10,000 pieces. Well, I don't think you guys will buy up 10,000 pieces of that transistor. I mean, that's just not the way things work, I mean, the IRF 520 has already been replaced 4 or 5 times. So I didn't really want to invest in 10,000 pieces of a single MOSFET transistor. So I said, well, the hell with it. I'll just write the number on there. So it looks kind of crude. I might figure out a way to get a stamp made up one day so I can stamp it on there. Oh, it kind of like what Ranger does with their RT1s. They just stamp the RT1 on there. That's what I want to do too. All right, so now I'm going to take the heat shield off and put a couple of screws back in there, and then we're going to remove the old transistors. Let me get you around here where you can kind of see that. I'll have to use the other camera to do that like I did before. All right, let's see if I can get something going here. The hardest part of doing it with two cameras like that is getting audio synced up. Okay, got that one recording now. I'm going to move over here and set him so you can see that. Can you see the bottom part? Yeah. All right. Using my long Phillips screwdriver. This is actually a number 1 Phillips. I need a number 2 long, thin number 2 Phillips, but they don't make such a thing. You get a long number 2 Phillips. It's bigger round. That's a lot thicker shaft. Have a hard enough time getting the right angle in coming past this shield fence on the inside of the radio, which I know why they do it. I mean, it's good practice to do that. I'm talking about this metal fence RF shield that blocks the rest of the radio from the radiated RF back here in the amplifier section. Once we get this shield removed, then I'll put a couple of screws back in here to hold the heatsink on while we take the transistors out, because these screws actually hold the heatsink on. There's no separate screws for attachment. But that's okay, you don't need them. I mean, this thing here, screws for it work just fine. See, it's got that foam inside there, that heat transfer foam, which works pretty damn good. All right, let's get a couple of these put back in. I'm going to use my real small number 1 Phillips to get these started, so I can get the right angle on them to make sure that they're straight. See, and this will hold the heat sink in place for us while we take the transistors out. Now, after I get the new transistors put in, I'm going to have to readjust the bias, make sure all the alignment is still good. Okay. I tell you, this radio market right now is crazy. Wholesale prices on these radios have risen out of sight, basically. Oh, look at there. One of those ceramic insulators is broken. Fortunately, I have more. I contacted Quazang directly and requested a bunch of these, and they sent me a bunch. Before all this craziness started, I was negotiating with them to come out with a LSCM radio. And I may still do that if the radio market picks back up after this well, I guess you'd call it an endemic now. I think the pandemic's already ran its course. I think COVID's going to be with us for quite a while, but it's just not going to be as deadly as it was initially. I need to take this strap off the bottom of it here. What this does is spread out the current handling capability. Make sure that both collectors are getting the same amount of current. Oh, you know what? I need to take the screw out of not the pre-driver, but the first driver. This one over here. That one. I need to get that one out. Put both cameras going. Maybe you won't miss anything. But I've noticed it seems like if I start the recording right on the GoPro, it doesn't drop out on me. If I start it with that app on my phone, it seems to drop out. I need to get one of those and set it out right now, as a matter of fact. And you have to use the ones that Huazang in China uses because they're thinner than the ones like you get from Ranger. They also have a different mounting point for the hole. See how close the hole is to the top of the insulator there? The Ranger is a lot further away from that. Well, here, just let me get one. I'll set it out there so you can see it. See, this is one from a Ranger right there. Pretty big difference. Put them side by side like that. You can see the hole for the Huazang radios is bigger. That's because of the insulator that they use. It's also longer. The radio chassis is made for that. Okay, let's start getting these guys on off the board here. And the same thing with getting these off the board, guys. You don't want to use any more heat than what you have to. And I'm not worried about getting solder on the other leads because we're going to come back and clean these runs up. That one there's ready to fall out. See how that solder likes to cling on to that run there? That's good. Unless you're trying to get them out. And this is nothing but just a flat blade tooth dentist tool. Yeah, I may have to turn the heat up to get this one out, because it's on the ground plane. Like so. Turn the heat back down. Well, I'll tell you what, let's leave the heat turned up and go ahead and get the two on the ground plane over here first. So even when I turn the heat up, I want just enough heat to where that it will melt the solder on the ground plane run. Don't want to use any more heat than necessary, which reminds me I need to turn it back down now. Come on. Reach around the other side and get them all out. I'm curious as to what they are. IRL 520. Quasi went to the IRL 520s because they were having so many problems with the 13N10s. They were going up like fuses. What was happening is that folks were trying to get more power out of them and turning them way up. Are they all 520s? Yep. All of them. RF 520s. And I don't know who put the heatsink compound on these, but it did a piss poor job. We're going to fix that right now. I got the other camera just sitting there running, so I'll probably do a picture-in-picture on it so you can see both cameras at the same time, because you'll be able to see some of the stuff from one camera and not see it from the other. Get all these little insulators in place here. And that tool has some flux on it. I don't want this to get into the heatsink compound. Make sure I get it all off. Now, because I'm using this to put the insulators where they're supposed to go without mashing them against the heatsink and smearing all the heatsink compound away from where it's supposed to be. Okay. Now do the side one when we turn it over to the side for the Z05. These guys here, I want to get them all in place. Get the screws started. And these are matched. All three of them. The Z05 is close in gain to what these are. It's actually just a little bit higher than what the Z06s are. You know what I did? And y'all sit there and watched me do it and didn't say anything. I didn't put any heat sink compound on the other side of the transistors. So out they come. I expect you guys to tell me about that from now on. Yeah. Oh, you're going, how are we supposed to do that? You're making a video. We don't see it till after you're already done. I've had a lot of you ask me to show my face on the video. Why? Why do you want to see me? You don't want to see me. I'm not on here for myself. Said you are to do an intro like all these other video people. All these other video people want to become famous, I guess, on the videos, but I just want to do my radio stuff. Okay, that's the 05. Now then, I might one day, but I'm not trying to be famous, folks. Just want to do a good job on your radios. I'm not going to get rich off of these videos either. You guys know that. And it takes me a while to put them together because I'm not an expert and I don't have anybody to do it for me. I have to do it myself. If I have a lot of videos to do, I've spent a whole day or 2 days doing videos. You know, splicing them together, putting all the pieces together, that kind of business. There's a lot to it, especially now that I've started doing this dual camera stuff. Like I said, the hardest part is getting the audio to sync. I just checked, I'm still recording, so that's good. I'll come back and do that one in a minute. I'm glad I caught that before I got it all put back together, because then I would have had to take it all back apart. And I would have took it back apart too. Now, this may not have made that much difference. I mean, the transistors may have kept working just fine, but I would have known that I didn't do everything I was supposed to do, and that would bug me. You expect me to do a first-class job on these radios. All of you do. That's why you send them to me. That's why you wait on them. That's why you pay how much you do. Because you know damn well I take my time and do it right. And me coming up with these MOSFETs here, that wasn't a just chance thing. I had to do some research on these. First, I had to unlearn the way that the bipolar transistors work inside of radios and relearn how these damn MOSFETs work inside of radios. They're very similar, but they are different. Okay, put that screw in there first. Yeah, this is a clean spot on my bench over here where I had these laying. There's no contaminants there. I wiped it off before I started. Because, see, this crap just gets everywhere. I mean, there's no way around it. If you mess with it, you're going to get in it. You just can't help it. If you don't get in it, you ain't doing something right. And the only way that I've found to keep from it is to wear a pair of gloves. But I don't like the way that the gloves kind of desensitize my fingers where I can't feel everything that I want to do, that I want to feel, like putting these screws and nuts on. I wouldn't be able to do that with a pair of gloves on, even if they are the little thin latex gloves. Okay. This damn nut wants to turn crooked to get started. It don't want to go on there straight. There we go. See, I wouldn't be able to feel that either if I had on a pair of gloves. If I don't back it off here before I get the screw. Now, I don't want to tighten the screws up. I just want them snug so I can still move the transistor, because the leads are not going to be exactly lined up. Like I said, I want them snug. I don't want there to be a big movement between where I put them and where the line is, the PC run. Now I got to turn my soldering iron down too far. Get a swig of lifer juice. Yeah, all you Navy guys know what that is. Coffee. Black coffee. And I've told you guys over and over again about the Epson solder pullet. Get the real thing, guys. Don't get those Chinese knockoffs. They don't work as well, and they don't last as long. No, Epson's not paying me for that plug. It's just a good tool, and I use it every day. And I'm just sharing that knowledge. That's all that is. I mean, you guys ever heard of Opera? It's a browser. Something new. The Opera people want me to start running ads in my videos about this browser. Now, I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I intend to. Kind of hard for me to do because I stay a little busy. You guys are about to work me to death. So after I try it, if I like it, I may start telling you about it. But I'm not going to let them influence the way I tell you about things, or that's why I don't have any radio sponsors or radio part sponsors or distributor sponsors or any of that kind of crap. So if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you about it. I just did a video on that RCI 99N2, which has the makings of an outstanding radio, except for one very glaring thing. You cannot get to the zeros on the frequency. Clarifier only slides up and down about one kc up, down 1 kc. My group, one of the leads connected to the X side, one lead connected to the Y side, which gives you a display that looks like an L on the oscope, and you can look at that and tell whether or not that junction is bad. It's what we used to use all the time before all this fancy test equipment that it has the CPUs in them and everything, and can measure micro ohms and all that kind of business, micro capacitance. Them little DCA testers, boy, they are worth their weight in gold. If you don't have one, you should get one. I recommend getting the DCA 75. But now I started out with a DCA 55, and it served me well for many, many years. They also have one that checks inductance and capacitance along with resistance. It's called an LCR 45. That comes in handy. Alright, now then, we got all the transistors soldered in place. I'm going to check them and make sure there's no shortages. No shorts, except the ones that I want to be shorted, like collector to collector, or no, you don't call them collectors. Gates. Now I have to do that again once I get the strap soldered in place to make sure that nothing is shorted. In fact, I'm going to turn it around like this so I get a better view. I like these little Hakko needle nose pliers. They got a flat tip that's got grooves in it, which makes it easy to grab something like this and put it exactly where you want it. Oh, that one's going to touch there. I got to cut that off. So we can't use that one as a test lead. And that one. Didn't think about that. And that one fell over behind that. I'm going to have to get that out of there. Then I can set this here. Solder him in place. And then go back and test again and make sure that we don't have any shorts. And just to make sure that I'm on, my sensor is telling me, and it is, I want to make sure that it indicates a short. That's what I'm doing there. Okay. Let me get that piece of lead. It just fell out. Y'all hear it fall out? There it is right there. See that? Y'all see that? Got thrown into my finger. That was the tip that I cut off that fell back behind that transistor. Alright, we should be ready to test this thing. And yeah, I'm going to test it before I put that shield back in place. Let's see. There you go, Rich. There's your Z06s. There's the Z05. LSCM is what it says down on the board. I tried to make it say. It's LSCM stands for less calm. Okay, 3 matched Z06s. And a Z05 is the first driver. Okay, let me get set up to test. More to come. Okay. I got it hooked up now. Let's check it, make sure it works, and then I got to set the bias on the new finals. Hello, 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 hello. Oh yeah, it works. Okay, what was that? That was north side. Let's try AM. Test 1 2 1 2 test. AM's working good. Let's do a receiver check real quick. That on 20. Yep. Set the internal. 9 S units. So on the AM, let's switch to lower side. 9 S units. Okay. Alright. Step back on external. Let me set the bias in these. If that checks good, then we'll put that back together and program it, and we'll be all done. Let's see. That's set to 20 volts. Where's the microphone? Okay. Oh wow, that's dead on. I set them for the 520s. Usually they change when I put the new ones in. That one was dead on too. That one there is a little bit low. So we'll adjust him just a tiny bit, and I mean just a tiny bit. Almost. A little goes a long way on those things. That's perfect. Wow, can't believe that. That one's perfect. That one's perfect. Okay, good deal. Alrighty. Yeah, let's get this camera here going so I can show you the power. I have a 100 watt slug in the RMS side and a 100 watt slug in the peak side. Now the peak side I have set on ×2. Okay. Set it on this guy right here. Hopefully it'll stay there. Alright, we'll be reading on the bottom scale on both sides. Only the peak side is going to be ×2. Okay, there where it says 100, that's actually 200. There where it says 60, that's 120. Okay, bottom scale. We are on AM, channel 20. I am on the dummy load, so don't freak out. Mic gain's all the way up, RF power's all the way up. Dead key in 18 watts. Hello audio, audio 1 2 1 2, audio hello. Going forward to about what is that, 115? I did see something I don't like though. Hello audio 1 2. See how that one falls back? I don't like the way that looks. Let's see if we can't do something about that. AM, we're going to turn the power down a little bit. Let's turn it down to about 12 watts. Dead key. Audio, hello audio. Still wants to go backwards. How about 10 watts? That looks better. Audio, hello audio. Audio 1 2 1 2, audio. Alright, that's RF power all the way up. Now I'm going to turn the RF power all the way down. Now this is so you can drive an amp with it. That's 2.5 watts. I want to reduce that a little bit more. Where is AM low power? Let's see, right about there. Hello 1 2 1 2 hello. Audio hello audio 1 2 1 2 audio. Yeah, all kind of swing. And that's not going to hurt an amplifier putting that into it. That's about 3 watts right there. Hello audio 1 2. Remember we're reading on that bottom scale. That first line there is 10 watts. Each one of those marks is 2 watts. Okay, so that's about 3 watts right there. Audio 1 2 1 2 audio. But look at that swing. Remember we're on the ×2 position, which means we're tickling 120 watts. And I'm going to turn RF power all the way back up. We're doing about 10 watts again, but the needle's moving forward. Audio 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1 audio test. Okay, now I'm going to switch to lower side. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. About 45 watts RMS. Just talking into it. See what it does. Putting a tone into it. That's definitely 50 watts. We're doing about 100 watts peak on sideband. Using the tone. Audio, hello, hello audio. Does a little better than that with your voice. But it's working great. So, Rich, I'm going to put the shield back on it. And then we'll do a final video. But there is your Palomar Max mod. Okay. And there's your, well, let me show you the upgrades. All right. Right there's your tighter IF filter. Okay. It only works in AM and FM. Okay. But it is tighter. This one is your sideband filter, which I don't have a narrow or a more narrow one than that. Okay, just haven't been able to find one. We've increased your voltage regulator buffer filter from a 1000 to a 3300 at 25 volts. Same thing with the DC input is 3300 25 volts, but it was only a 470 microfarad, not even 1000. Okay, so we've more than quadrupled it. 6 times what it was. So you got massive filtering on the DC input now that you did not have before. And of course, that Max mod just runs cool as can be. Because look at the size of the back of that thing. See how much it has against the heat sink? And with us using those mica insulators, it transfers heat better than the ceramic insulators. Okay? All right, I'm going to put the shield back on the transistors, put all the screws back in it, and put the covers on it. We'll do a final video. More to come. You know what? I thought maybe you might like to see me put the shield on there. So, there it is. I probably can't see a whole hell of a lot. There's the Z06s. Getting ready to cover them up with this shielding thing. And it's got the heat transfer foam on there, which I'm not sure how that stuff works yet. I haven't had a chance to research it. I do know that when the old 13N10 transistors would act like a fuse and eat themselves, that little gel foam stuff caught the brunt of it. I'd often have to pull it out and turn it over just to have enough to touch the front of the transistor, because it would blow part of it away. Yeah, you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? I'm putting screws in it now. I'm going to tighten the screws up here in just a second. Main thing was to show you that I was putting the shield over the Z06s. We don't want these screws backing out on you when you're going down the road. That wouldn't be good. But there's the Z05 over there in the corner. Got the shield all put back together. Now I'm going to put the covers back on it. But if you got an order placed with me, don't worry, folks. You will get it. Yes, I am way behind. I don't have anybody to help me do administrative stuff anymore. The folks that I did have don't want to come back. They seem to be content just drawing their retirement checks. Every now and then I get family will help me with email and stuff, but that's pretty much it. I don't have anybody to help me with repairs or tracking or shipping or anything. I'm doing all of that by myself now, so it looks like it's going to stay that way. The economy being the way it is. Cost of radios now are, well, I've already said that, but they're through the roof. I can't believe how much we're paying for a 10-meter radio now. It's freaking ridiculous. And that's the only thing they cover is 10 meters. Well, 10, 11, and 12. But it's not just, CB style radios. I mean, these 991s that I paid about $1,000 for, over the last few years. I think it was like $900 and something a piece. They're like $1,600 and $1,800 now. Same damn radio. Don't even get me started on who I think is the reason for it. Right now, he's in the White House. Can't wait till the next election. He needs to be in the old folks' home, not in the White House. Anyway, not a political channel. I need to shut up. Sorry about that. That's personal opinion, and everybody knows how those are. Everybody has one. All right. Let's get the seal put on there. We'll fire this thing up again. You can see what it looks like. Oh, you know what? I still got to do I got to program it. Haven't done that yet. You might like to have it programmed. Okay. $9.55. Right there. Yes, I do already have the program set up, so it's just a matter for me to load the right configuration and hit the button, and it's done. Okay. Done. Now I have to turn it off and power it back up. We'll get that on this one. Okay. Rich, there she is, buddy. Rich, I sure hope you enjoy your new radio. It was my pleasure to set it up for you. 7-3, everybody. Stay safe.